I need a flat surface in order to level the bottom of this. So see, it rocks now. So what I'll do is I'll measure and get it so that it's the same distance across here and equally across from side to side. And I'll shim it and then I'll mark it. 16 5/8. Okay, I'm within a 1/16 of an inch everywhere now. So that's probably about as close as I'll get. Now what I have to do is I have to mark it so I know where to cut it off on the bottom. So up to this height, I'll take the least amount off, but I'll catch everything. So now I just go around on all the legs and I mark where to cut it off. See, over here I have to cut quite a bit off. And initially, I'll take it down with a chainsaw because there's quite a bit of wood to remove. So I'll get close to the line, but not to the line. And I'll use the chainsaw that has a fine teeth so I don't tear it too badly. Next, I'll get really close to the line with the die grinder, but not quite take the line. I'll take the line with the chisel. But I'll finish off getting it really precisely where I want it by hand. Because you can be a lot more accurate. So I go around the whole perimeter, taking it right down into the middle of the line, and then I'll take out the center so that it's flat. Go ahead and I bevel it so that it doesn't get chipped off, because this is what comes in contact with the floor. The finish that I use is polyurethane, linseed oil, and beeswax. They're melted together and they're paste-like. And it's quite water resistant, but the thing that's very nice about it that I like is that the wood retains its natural look and feel. And it doesn't feel like there's a coating of plastic over it. So now I'll put 2 to 3 coats of this on. It has to set for a couple days for this finish to harden, and then I'll wipe it down and apply another coat and let it dry for 2 or 3 days, and then probably a third coat. You can see how it starts bringing the colors of the wood out and the grain. So you have to rub pretty hard to get it to really go into all of the little crevices, because this is all a textured surface.
How much will the wood continue to darken, like over the next year?
Usually,
or change, lighten or darken?
Yeah, usually the myrtle wood, I've noticed, will darken up for about 6 months, and then after that it pretty much doesn't change anymore.
So that was the tree trunk.
So this was the tree trunk coming down here, but it's very off-center. And so one of the challenges was to find a complementary piece of wood that I would use for the feet and legs that would balance it so that it wouldn't tip. I always try to sign it in a place that's inconspicuous, and I number them also. You're always able to identify the piece called marbled merlets by the number on the bottom with my signature and date.
When did you start numbering?
From the very beginning.
Ah.
Yeah, so there's a couple hundred pieces.
Yeah.
But that was, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm right at the finishing stages for this piece. This area right here, I'll die grinder out, and then I'll put the chiseling texture in, and then after that I'll go ahead and sign it, and it'll be finished. So my objective with the die grinder is to just even out the surface so that I don't have to remove very much with the chisel when I go ahead and texture it, just so I get the plane that conforms to what it is I'm trying to accomplish in an overall shape. The final stage on this will be to lay in the texture and just finish contouring it with the chisel texture. And I've already laid out this line so that it's exactly what I want, so I'll try to bring the chisel texture right to that line but not over it. Finally, what I want is that the shapes come out, and so I keep a nice contour on the line so that it really defines the shape. The advantage of chiseling by hand rather than just hitting it with a mallet is that when you get into grain like this that's very irregular, I can feel as the chisel goes through the grain, if I get into an area where the grain is actually going to tear out, because it will do that even with a sharp chisel, I'm able to let off and approach it at a different direction so that I don't tear the grain out. Because once I tear the grain out, I've got a hole, and then I have to recontour that whole surface to match the depth of the hole. The shape stands out, and you can see that it not only is the surface is active, but the shape functions with the overall piece, and you get a lot more movement with the piece once it's well defined and the surface is laid in. Well, there's very few other mediums that are as warm as wood and as tactile, as far as when you run your hand over it, it feels like something and looks like something that grew naturally. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I particularly like about the way that I get my wood is that I reclaim these large timbers from the beach. So I've been reclaiming these timbers for the last 30 plus years, and I don't have to cut any trees in order to make these sculptures. Carving a piece and designing it, I'm a lot more interested in the shape of the piece, the design of the piece as a piece of sculpture. How does it function as far as its movement, its form, and the secondary interest is the grain patterning, the burl that might be in it, the color variation. Those are all secondary. My primary concern with a piece of sculpture is how it functions. Does it have the movement that I'm looking for, and the consistency through the piece?